Hello traders, John at StockBookie.com. Today we're looking at GoPro on all the time frames, the 10, the 60, the daily, weekly, monthly. We're going to use technical analysis and try to figure out which way this thing will go. So this morning, nice push up, typical push right out of the gate, then distribution right in their face. Nice little bearish pattern, then the next fall down. Looks like some news came out in this thing, but guess what? Right in the gap fill, this low pivot, 200 MA and the even number. We get the bounce, they pull it back, shake everybody out, then they continue on its merry way. If you're bullish, you need to get above the 50 MA. You need to get above this green line right at 17 or 1677, and then recapture the blue line here at say 17 bucks. 60-minute chart. This is the one that has a bearish inside bar. This one needs to get above the 1676 area and the 20 MA. If this keeps consolidating within this big red bar, has a great chance of possibly setting up for the next fall. We are up 115 on the Dow, and this thing cannot scratch out a positive gain. So that tells me this is a weak equity. Moving on news, people are either getting in or getting out, taking profits. And at this point, I just wouldn't trust this thing, guys. You know what? I don't know what news. I think the Hero 5 or I don't even know, honestly. But this pattern here, when it came in, did this. We have a little topping tail here, little topping tail there. If it gets above, if you're bearish on this one and it gets above this topping tail at 1741, you might want to think about exiting, or let's go to the daily. You have a 1843, you got a big gap fill, and at 2046 you have a high pivot. So if this thing goes up, you're going to have trouble here at the 1843, and you're going to have some big trouble anywhere in the 20 to $20.50 area, because basically what happened was everyone who bought up in here, you know, Christmas time, oh my gosh, this is great, I'm going to buy this, it's got to go up at earnings, and then basically it did not. So whoever was holding the bag back in here, you're going to have a ton of overhead resistance. So when this thing does, if it does possibly come up into this area, I'm going to add a short to this position. Small position because it is a news-driven stock, but there's going to be a lot of people just taking the money and saying, you know what, I'm back to break even, I'm getting out of this thing, and I'm done. So right now, we're retraced up into the 750, which I've been talking about. A lot of things been shooting over the 618. See how it goes into this area, 618, high pivot. We pull back for one day, comes right back into the 50 retrace, the 20 MA. They pop it right up and almost to the 750 retrace, comes back in. As long as we stay above the 1622, I think we'll be okay. We'll wait for the next pattern and more consolidations. But honestly, guys, if the markets start to dump, this thing's going down with the rest of them. I don't care what stock it is, they're all coming in. So be really careful with this. If it starts approaching the 1843 and $20 area, if you're long, start tightening up that stop. If you love this GoPro, just take it off the table, let this thing come down and buy it, you know, start buying it when it starts coming into the moving averages, this trend line around 13 bucks. Honestly, I think we could go down to 10 if the whole thing starts falling apart. Weekly chart. Weekly chart, I mean, you can see it even clearer. Take the high there, take the low there, right into the 750 retrace. We are above the moving averages. Technically, it's okay, but how can you say that when you're down and sideways? Look at this bearish pattern and inside bar. This is ugly, guys. This is telling me we're setting up for the next down leg on GoPro. Markets dump. We're going right back to 10 bucks at least. I mean, we'll steer step down, but it needs to close over 1753 at the end of the week. At the end of the week, then we'll talk. Then we confirmed over the MAs, and let's see if we can continue up. But the markets are starting to sell off right now. This will be interesting towards the end of the day. I added some shorts today. I might take my Facebook trade off the table, not to get off the subject. But again, 750 retrace, overshot the 618 in this pivot, starting to come back in. It needs to stay up there. If it reverses on a weekly basis and closes below this candle low, starts to head towards here, we're going lower. Simple as that. But again, everything's a market trade, so just time it with the SPY and all that good stuff. Monthly, just ugly. I mean, look at this. Down, sideways, dump, sideways. It's the same pattern. If it doesn't get above 2054, it's just going to chop around, and possibly set up for the next down leg. Unless they get news. That's the only thing driving half these stocks. Oh my gosh, they got an upgrade. Oh my gosh, the Hero 19. Oh my gosh, Janet Yellen's buying everything in sight. You know, it's just, that's how these markets are. They're irrational. They're going up and down every other day. I believe it's making a top on the SPY, and eventually if that thing sells off, they're all going down. All right, guys, that's my outlook on GoPro. Right now, as long as it stays above the 1622 area or 16 bucks, we're okay. If it gets below that, then you better tighten that stop up. Market's dump is definitely going lower. All right, guys, thanks for watching my videos. Questions or comments, stockbookie@gmail.com. Follow me on YouTube and follow me on StockTwits, guys. Throw out some good trades out there. We're making money here, and that's about it. God bless. See you on the charts.